I feel like the problem is not really lack of information anymore. It might actually be too much information, which is creating this overwhelming confusion. Most people don't know what their next step is, and most people confuse this lack of clarity to lack of motivation. Because trust me, everybody is motivated to become fit and healthy. That is our natural tendency. You just haven't tapped into it yet. This video is for you if you feel overwhelmed by conflicting diet advice and you don't know what to trust, or you struggle to maintain a healthy eating pattern that fits your lifestyle. Because today I'm going to give you clarity on your diet. I can say this with confidence because the things that I'm going to share are facts, the kind of facts that are obvious, like the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. Now let's get into it. We have so many different diet styles like carnivore, keto, vegan, paleo, vegetarian, vegetarian, and every single one of these diet styles have its own research papers, its own influencers, its own followers who follow it like this is the holy grail. Their diet is like the best diet out there. The vegans, they look healthy. The carnivores, they are thriving. Even though these two are so different, so opposite from each other, they are thriving. It's confusing, right? I've struggled with this for years, trying to figure out what is the best diet out there. Not just for me, but for my clients too. Because I wanted to become the best at what I do. I wanted to give the best diet possible for that individual. So I had to go through a lot of trial and error. I tried a lot of diets. Even the diets that I think are stupid, I still tried it. Just to see what it is and just to see why people follow it. And after trying all of that, this is what I've learned. There are fundamentals when it comes to diet that apply to all humans, which is like the foundation. And above that, the diet is something that has to be tailored to you, for your body, your goals, and your situation. So once you fix the fundamentals, you can adjust the other things based on your needs. And remember, whatever works for one person might not work for you. So let's figure out what works for you. So here are my 5 different ways to clear confusion around your diet. The first one, fight your limiting beliefs. So let me tell you a quick story. This happened long back when I first started working as a personal trainer. I used to shadow and observe my manager, who was also a higher level trainer. So he had a client, and this client wanted abs, and he was obsessed with this idea of abs. But if you look at his work ethic, like when it comes to his workout and his diet, they were not pretty good. So he was always asking the trainer, can we start steroids? Give me something, give me some pills, whatever it is. I don't care about my health. I just want to see abs on myself. And the trainer always hesitated because it's not healthy. But this guy wouldn't listen. He kept on obsessing over abs and he kept on asking, give me something that would transform me. And one day the trainer finally gave up and he came with some pills. He said, here you go. These are the pills that will get you to abs in 3 months. You have to take one in the morning, one in the evening, and you have to work out really hard and you have to follow the diet to the T. So the 3 months went on. The guy worked out really hard. His diet was pretty good. And the client finally achieved abs by the end of 3 months. And I was new to the game. I was pretty curious. I went and asked the trainer, what pills did you give him that transformed him like that? And the trainer told me that pills have nothing but some milk powder. He bought empty capsules and he filled it himself with milk powder and just gave it to him. That guy thought he's taking some kind of steroids and he did everything else right. He believed in those pills so much that he finally achieved abs. This is how powerful belief is. We all have our own beliefs. We also have our own limiting beliefs, which place a lot of limitation on your brain. And when it comes to diet, these limitations can be placed by your parents or society or religion or things like that. If your food choices are based on feelings or emotions, it will never work out for you. Like if you love animals and you don't want to eat meat, you're at a disadvantage. Because the physical universe don't really care about your feelings. Even the animals don't. In the wild, a tiger would eat you and never regret it. You have to become aware of all the limiting beliefs that's in your head and you have to cut them down. You should not be having restrictions to food without a strong reason. And I get it if you're religious and certain foods are not allowed in your religion. I'm not telling you don't be religious. What I'm saying is become aware so that you can understand all the limits that have been placed on you. And think if you're missing on something really essential for your health. And if you do, find alternatives, maybe different foods or supplements. And now if you remove all the filters and all the limiting beliefs and think about this ideal diet for you, think how close can you get to that? And that is your first step. The second one, put essentials first. Essentials are those which you absolutely need to survive, and non-essentials are the opposite. Like even if you don't have them in your life, you will still survive. Now, when it comes to food, the essential macronutrients are proteins and fats, and non-essentials are carbs and alcohol. And these are essential and non-essential for a reason. And if you see someone claiming that this certain food is really good for humans, think what it has. Does it have most of the essentials, or does it have most of the non-essentials? And if it have essentials, it has a lot of good proteins and good fats, then you cannot say it's bad for humans. And I've seen this happening a lot with red meat. Red meat has good protein and fats. It's very nutritious. And a lot of people like, oh, it causes cancer. If you eat a lot of it, your uric acid and your cholesterol goes up. No, it don't. People with limiting beliefs support that narrative. Now, I'm not saying only eat red meat, I'm saying don't be blind to reality. If red meat has most of our essential nutrients, how can it be bad for us? Now, let's create a diet with this concept. Let's make a 80-20 rule where 80% of your calories comes from essential and 20% comes from non-essential. Now, let me tell you how I eat. My first meal, which is basically breakfast, I eat 4 whole eggs. I add some meat into it, mostly chicken, and I add some cheese into it. It's like an omelette. Now I consider that into the 80% because that only has protein and fats. So the 20% I can eat whatever. I get to eat whatever. Most of the times I eat fruits like banana, pineapple, stuff like that. And sometimes I eat oats with milk and honey. I like that. And sometimes I eat bread. And there will be days where the first meal is not this perfect, like when I have like a French toast or a pancake where the carbohydrates are very high and the protein and fats are low. What I do is I try to make a 80-20 rule throughout the day. Like if you can't make 80-20 for that meal, make 80-20 for that day. You can also try making 80-20 for the whole week. Now, what do we call this diet? I don't know. Third one, understand social media. Social media can either benefit you or destroy you. It all depends on how you use it. Most things online are designed to grab attention, not to give you the best information out there. Because people who cannot grab attention don't do well on social media. It doesn't matter how good their information is. So you will never come across it. And when it comes to diet, social media is a mess. Because imagine this, if I'm on social media and I say you can eat this, this, this and this, and sometimes you can eat that, or I say something like calories in and calories out. The reason why you're not losing weight is because you're not in calorie deficit. If I say shit like that, I would be pretty boring and I would fail to grab attention. Instead, if I say don't eat oats, this is how oats are the worst food for human beings. Now I have all the attention. And that is how I'll get success on social media. And that is how misinformation is being spread. And that is how the extreme diets are getting popular. And something that I've noticed with all these extreme diet influencers is that they do everything else right. Look at their life. They are waking up to sunlight. They're spending time in some sunlight. They're grounding, they're sleeping very well, and they do everything else right. They don't eat any processed junk. And on the other side, regular people like you don't have the same lifestyle. Health is not just diet. Health is a lot more than that. All these influencers, you don't have to strictly take their word for it, but you have to consider them. Like people said red meat is bad. Look at Paul Saladino. He's like what, 47? Look at this guy. And look at Shawn Baker. He's 57. All he eats is red meat, nothing else. That's not how most 57-year-olds look. Now look at Jordan Peterson. That guy also eats just red meat, and it doesn't matter what his opinions and if you agree to it or not. You cannot say this man is not articulate. Like, you have to be really healthy to be able to put your thoughts into words like that. And look at all the things that he does. And the vegan influencers are also doing pretty good. Some people died, some people started eating meat, but there are pretty strong and healthy vegans. Like I've seen a vegan powerlifter. Ain't that crazy? Now, someone online is trying to grab your attention and leading you down a good path, then it's not a bad thing. But don't trust everything. Think critically of what fits into your lifestyle. Fourth one, don't be manipulated by businesses. I strongly believe that every human being should understand the concept of business, because everything that you buy and consume comes from a business, and it takes a certain amount of manipulation and persuasion for every business to run and succeed. It's not bad, but there are some business owners who puts profits and power over ethics and morals. So if you are aware of these things, if you understand the concept of business, you will be able to differentiate between the ethical businesses and the non-ethical ones. I once went to a bread factory trying to buy burger buns, and I've seen that it has 23 ingredients. Why the fuck would you need 23 ingredients for a bun? And some of the ingredients didn't even have names to it. They just have some code numbers. Now most people are unaware of the damage that comes with it, and most business owners are unaware that they are doing something unethical because it's beyond numbers. It's into spirituality. People don't go that far. So technically you cannot change the industry, but what you can do is change yourself to make the right food choices. So a simple way to eat healthy is to eat low ingredient foods. Now let's take an example. Imagine you eat half an avocado. How many ingredients is that? One, just one avocado. Now chicken steak, again one. Forget about the seasoning, all the salt, pepper and stuff. Now mashed potatoes. It's potato, butter, milk, 3. If you eat all of them together, it's like 5 to 6 ingredients. Still better than that 23 ingredient bun. And when you look at most of the label products in supermarkets, they have a long list of ingredients. You know, I've come to this crazy realization that sugar is not addictive, because I have never seen anybody sit and just eat spoonful of sugar. Sugar is not addictive. Sugar is a substance used to make foods addictive. So if you have to make food addictive and unhealthy, you just have to mix a bunch of shit together. And that is what businesses do. Fifth one, fuck around and find out. You know, whenever I hear claims about nutrition, my first question for every claim is, for who? Oh, too much protein will cause kidney stress. For who? Or too much salt will increase your blood pressure. For who? How much salt? 5 grams, 10 grams, 20? You see, human beings are individually very unique. And diet is just one aspect of health. Your lifestyle and your situations matter a lot. Like I'll give you an example. Let me think of a food that I think is pretty bad. A donut. I think donuts are bad for humans. Now imagine this scenario, this situation. There is a storm in the middle of the ocean and this massive ship sank and everybody died. Only one guy survived and he is now on a small boat with no food. And it's been 10 days. He's starving, he's about to die. Now, do you think a donut is bad for him? Absolutely not. I know it's an extreme example, but you get the idea. If you break down all the human food, it comes down to just plants and animals. Humans instinctively ate plants and animals, and I think humans mostly ate animals because you will never accidentally eat a wrong animal and die. But there are a lot of berries and mushrooms that looks edible, that looks very attractive, but are poisonous. So for the early humans, animals is like the safe option. And what does the animal flesh have? Only 2 macronutrients. And what are those 2? Protein and fats, which are the essential macronutrients for us. Now we have the technology that can figure out what plants are poisonous and what are safe to eat, but technology won't change biology. And my advice for anybody who is confused about diet options is that try everything. For a short duration of time, try every single diet out there. You will figure out what's the ideal diet for you. Or here's an interesting idea. You can just do the 80-20 diet that I explained earlier. I feel like that diet is pretty good for most of the humans. I hope this video was valuable. If it was, watch my other videos. All the links to my socials and other things in my description. And I'll see you guys in my next video.